Welcome to episode 60 of Enter the Mind podcast, the most real talk, no nonsense podcast on the empowering of the mind. Today, we'll be talking about how to think clean. Before we get to that, Kyra, how's it going this week?
It is going. It's going. A lot of crazy things, but I really wanted to make it to today's podcast. So I'm glad that I'm here and I'm excited to talk about Robert's pick for the topic today. Robert, how are you?
Awesome. I'm good. I'm having a solid week, and it's all thanks to mindset. So that's why I wanted to talk today about thinking clean. And those are two words that you often don't hear together, but we do hear the term eating clean, right? As in putting good food into your body, eat clean, maybe plant-based, or eat food that doesn't have contaminants or bad things in them. So if there were such a thing as thinking clean, what would that look like? I have an idea of it, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So does anything come to mind immediately when you think of the term thinking clean?
Yes, something came to my mind this morning before we started the podcast, but you can't see it right now, but I'm smiling because I love that these images just came up in my head. I thought it was really cool because when we think about like thinking clean, it's, we got to think clean. And I guess clean would be in the same context used as when you're eating clean. When you're eating clean, it's because, they're nutritious, it's going into your body and it's giving you fuel and everything. And then when you're thinking clean, it's doing the same thing, but in different ways. So like when you're thinking clean, you're thinking of thoughts that are giving you, nutrition, and they make you feel good and happy and energized, things like that. But when you said, it's like eating clean, I pictured almost like an exercise, like a fun little exercise that you could do for thinking clean. Like, like it's so exciting. Like putting together a little plate, I guess, for like specific thought meals throughout the day. So what I'm doing right now, okay, so there's something called like a this to that. And when like a specific something happens that you kind of like do that, like, I don't know, maybe you're super happy. So maybe you take a picture of yourself, right? Or maybe you're feeling, maybe you just won the lot. No, maybe you got a paycheck. So you take yourself out for an ice cream cone, right? Okay. So like throughout the day, maybe you feel yourself being influenced in the wrong way by the people that you're around. So that's the this. And then the that goes to your specific thought meal that you've had planned out for that. Do you get what I'm saying?
I like this idea of the thought meals.
Fun, right? Yeah.
This is very good. Can you say more about it?
Yes. So the thought meal, it's like, okay, so say, you're just feeling kind of low at the moment. Maybe your vibration has gotten a little low. So 2 weeks ago, you made a thought meal and you put it together and you wrote down on a piece of paper and you drew a little plate with 3 sections. And in that 3 sections, maybe it said, stop, look for a flower, and genuinely smile and appreciate it. And so that would be your thought meal specifically for when your vibrations are just feeling a little low and you want to pick them up. So then you would be thinking clean at that moment with your clean little thought meal. It's kind of sweet, kind of exciting.
Definitely. Yeah. Let's synthesize that with the angle that I was coming from. So thought meals, I like the idea of you use the thought meals as like a go-to. So you're prepared and you can use them at certain times to achieve certain goals, right?
Yes.
To uplift yourself.
Yes.
Good. Now the angle I was coming from when I hear thinking clean is throughout the day, almost every little moment, kind of catching yourself when you start to think anything negative. And this concept of no negativity and never complaining and always being positive is a bit of a cliche, but I think when it's actually practiced, there are huge payoffs at the level of energy. And I've had so much more energy this week, despite sleeping very few hours. And I'm trying to figure that out, because mathematically it doesn't work out. I'm sleeping 6 hours instead of 8. And yet, when I used to sleep 8, I would be very tired throughout the day. And I think something was happening at the level of emotions, because this week I've just been thinking so clean. My mind has been so clean through my own efforts, that I don't entertain any sort of negativity. I'm staying in action mode all day long. As soon as I finish as much as I can do on one project, I move it aside and move on to the next project. And so I'm maintaining a very steady rhythm throughout my day of proactivity and what can I do now and what's the most impactful thing. And really nothing is slowing me down. It's in a way, this is, I think, what it feels to be unstoppable, and it feels very good. And what's amazing to me is the energy payoffs, because when you do entertain these negative thoughts, you are using up energy. Like they do, like there's a word in psychology called decision fatigue, which means you get tired of like making like little decisions throughout the day. But I would propose some sort of concept like negativity fatigue, where just any sort of negative or pessimistic thought in your mind just really depletes your energy. And it could be anything negative, like, oh, this project is not going to go well, or, oh, I got to stay late at work again. Why do I have to be late like this? Like that's what I mean when I say negativity. Or oh, I can't believe, somebody left trash on the ground again, and this place is getting dirty. Or like, it's all of those little things, they upset your equilibrium and they slow down your rhythm. And so it's kind of like a vehicle. Here's a last thought I'll share before I pass it back to you. It's like when the negativity are like mice that invade your house. And if you want to keep the mice out of your house, you have to kind of constantly stay up on it. You have to be protective of your house. You have to kind of not leave food out to attract them. You need to seal all of the holes in the wall. But those mice are going to come back unless you like actively keep them out. But if you actively keep them out, I think there's like huge rewards to that. So I know I said a lot, but go ahead. I'll pass it to you.
I've been trying to remember the very first thing that I wanted to comment on that you said in the beginning the whole time. But I like that you said in the beginning, when you actually practice the positivity, like it can reap extreme benefits in your energy. And I really, really liked that, because it's extremely true. Sometimes there'll be like people out in the world, and maybe I'll overhear that they're going through a problem, and maybe I'll tell them, oh, I know exactly how to fix that, and I begin to tell them, I'm like, repeat in your head. I'm not even joking. Like, repeat in your head for 10 minutes nonstop, look yourself in the mirror and be like, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And they're like, some people say, like, that's not going to work or something like that. And I'm like, no, it really does. Because once you train your brain to get in that positive, clean thinking, once you fill your head with phrases of clean thinking, like, I am going to do this. This is doable. Everything is okay. I'm headed towards my goals. I have my vision. I have a target. And when you have a target, it absolutely cannot be missed when you have your target. So, when you come up with your phrases, like your character, referring back to the character method, for building your dream life, going back to your character has all of its phrases, all of its action phrases, So what are your phrases? What are your clean thinking phrases? And what are you going to do to incorporate those into your daily mind every day? So that way you can, it starts to become natural for you to to think so positively and forward thinking. So yeah, I really liked the whole, if it's actually practiced, it can truly reap the benefits. And I think that that's a step that most of us, sometimes forget, that things take time, things take practice. And in order to fill your head with this clean thinking, it will take some time, but as long as you practice it and as long as you keep going with it, it's going to happen, like 100%. So I just really liked the actually practice part.
Yeah, and I think our two perspectives are really covering both sides of this, which is great. So now I'm realizing that I was looking at it kind of just from one side, which is mainly trying to avoid the negative thinking. But the side that you're bringing up is also injecting the positive thinking, and you need both of them together. That's the 1-2 punch, right?
Yes, I think so. Because in the beginning of my journey to, really deciding to commit to having a better life and being the best me that I could, I went through, the phase where I genuinely thought that there weren't supposed to be any negative thoughts in my head. And anytime I heard anyone say anything negative, like going through a problem or anything, I would completely wave it off. And after a while, I noticed that I was hurting their feelings when I did that. And it hurt my feelings when people waved off my pain like it was nothing, because it's real and it's here and it happens. But the best part of it is that when we take that time and actually practice our positive thinking, it can make these hard times and these negative thoughts that are inevitable to fall in sometimes, we can push forward with grace, maybe a little bit of non-grace, but for the most part, we can push forward with love and grace and trust when we have that, when we set that stage for ourselves with our clean thinking. Definitely. It's a beautiful topic.
Yeah, and that's a good point, that I think there is a misconception out there of positive thinking as something that just kind of something negative happens and you're like, all right, who cares? Put it, brush it under the rug. And
yes,
and I think that's really not what it's like. And you're definitely going to be off-putting to others if you react to their complaints or negativity in that way. And I think another thing we have to understand is that positive thinking is very, very rare in its true essence, because most people, the average mindset is, not to be critical of the average mindset, but I think it is what it is. Like, a lot of people, I hear it every single day. Like, that's how I know that it's out there, that people just adding these unnecessary comments and perceptions to the events that happen. So for instance, let's say you get a nail in your tire. That happened to me a couple of weeks ago, right? Negative thinking would sound like, oh, how could, why did this happen to me? Or, or come on, now I'm going to have to pay for this tire and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I don't have $100, sitting around to just pay for this tire. Right? Those are all thoughts that cause, at the level of energy, they cause a contraction. And as soon as you experience that thought, boom, say goodbye to a bunch of energy stores that you have. But you want to say something? It sounds like you have a thought.
Oh, yes.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah. So I really like it because the second one, I feel like the first thought that you had of a negative thought for the example, I thought that those were the best because usually I can't stand when I hear something come out of somebody's mouth and they're like, why is this happening to me? Or like, why? You know, like, my love, that's not it. But the second one got me thinking, and it was, oh, come on, like now I'm gonna have to pay for this and I don't have $100. And I thought about it, and immediately my mind went to your tone. And it was the tone of how you were saying it. So it was like, oh, come on. Like now I don't have $100. Like it was just so bummed out, you know, like, and I think that those are initially the thoughts that come up. And I think that it's good to acknowledge those, like those would be the negative, you know, thoughts. But I think that leading to clean thinking would be allowing those thoughts to come up and saying, oh, damn, like now I have to pay for this too. And then it's like, I don't have $100, you know, like that's facing the facts, right? Kind of facing the facts. But then once you know, get that out and you're like, all right, well, let's think, right? So then that leads to the clean thinking. And it's like, so let's think, right? I have to pay for this now. Nothing I can do about it. All right. That's check. All right. Nothing I can do about it. So let's, you know, push forward. And then it's, I don't have $100. Okay. So we address that. Okay. So how can I get $100? What can I do to get this money? Is there somebody that I can call? Is there any way that I can have this $100 waived? What can I do here? Let's see what I can do now. You know, and I think that that's the part of clean thinking that we all really need to keep incorporated in us, because, you know, when those hard times do come along, we need to face the facts, face what's in front of us, and make a calm, rational decision after that in order to have our best interest in the future. Because if we're not making that calm, rational decision and our positive thinking and our clean thinking, then we are going to wind up with something that is not what we wanted. And it's, yes, the clean thinking. Okay.
And the examples you gave, I would call guiding questions, like the question of, now what's the best way I can get this paid for, or can I get a discount for this, or something like that.
Yeah.
Those are guiding questions. And the reason those are powerful is that they presuppose or they're rooted in the assumption or the acceptance of the problem.
Yes.
The acceptance of reality, that you do have a tire with a nail in it. And the other responses, like the negative ones, such as, why did this happen to me? That doesn't accept reality. It fights reality. It resists reality. And as we know, you know, because the whole premise of that is, you know, oh, this shouldn't have happened. You know, thoughts like, well, I just, you know, come on, is this the second one? I had one I got a flat tire, you know, last month, and now it happens again. You're resisting reality. And what happens when you try to resist reality? And reality is the biggest and strongest, most powerful thing. If anything is God, reality is God in my eyes. And if you try, what happens when you try to resist God? You're going to lose every single time. And not only are you going to lose, you are going to expend so much energy, wasted energy. And that's why it's such an energy suck, because it's like trying to push a 5,000 pound boulder. Like you're just going to be tired at the end. And that's what happens at the end of everybody's day. They're tired and they're exhausted, not because they accomplished a lot, but because they engaged in negative thinking all day long. So the solution then is the guiding questions, right? So you accept reality. And then the other point that you made is the tonality. And I'm glad you picked up on that, is there's not just victim mindset we have to avoid, but there's also victim tonality. Because when you complain, you do it the exact same way. It sounds like a song. And I made this point in one of my YouTube videos, that when people speak, they are singing. It's like they're singing a song constantly, because there's a melody and a rhythm to everything that you say. And when you're thinking positively and speaking positively, there's going to be a different rhythm and a different sound to it. And that's going to then create your emotions. So that's all I have time for right now. I'll go into that maybe in another episode or something, because that's a big topic unto itself, tonality and
Absolutely.
and the melody of our internal dialogue. But for now, let's do any final thoughts for the day and wrap up. So what are your final thoughts?
I just have to say that's been coming up for me a lot, is tonality. And I think that's what sometimes that's one of the things that isn't mentioned in the amazing self-help books that we have today, the amazing personal development books today. I've never read about how it goes down to the minute detail of your tone, and I think that we need to pay a lot more attention to that for sure, because it's completely true. So on top of that, my final thoughts will be, I just think that this episode was completely beautiful and just really beautiful. And I think that clean thinking, if you really want to get to that point where your thinking is, snap, 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 you're in flow, you're clean, you're feeling good, you can, like Robert, your week sounded amazing. I love those kind of weeks and those kind of days when, you just have this mindset and it's like, I can finish this task. I'm good. I'm going. I'm focused. I'm alive. I'm clear today, and those are the best fucking days, man. Those are the best days. And to get to that point, we just have to remember to take a look at our character, take a look at our target goal, come up with our action phrases that are true to our passion, true to our heart, true to our target, and, go from there and find our dreams from there and have our clean thinking from there. So those are going to be my final thoughts. And do we want to do a power question today?
Yeah, definitely. Do you have one in mind?
I think that the power question could be, what can I do more of in my day that will lead me to a happier, cleaner thinking? And when you ask yourself this question genuinely, it opens up a portal inside of you, and the answer will come. If it doesn't come automatically, it might come in a week, it might come in 2 weeks, it might come tomorrow. Just ask yourself the question, because that leaves room for you to act. When you ask yourself an internal question, it then leaves room for you to act. So just go ahead and ask yourself that question today.
Yeah, that's a solid one. I think it keeps us moving in the right direction, which is forward. Maybe some of this might sound a little bit like, wow, this seems like a lot to do. How do you catch your own thoughts and that sort of a thing? But I think little by little, it will come together. Just keep listening to these podcasts, keep watching the videos, and the pieces will come together for sure. So that's all I got for today. Thank you all for watching and listening. We'll be back next week with episode 61. Until then, practice your thinking, practice your awareness. And if this was helpful and beneficial, then please show your love by hitting the like button and sharing with your friends. We'll see you all next week.